Members, we have a quorum, and it's the appointed time. I call the meeting of the Panel on Environmental Affairs to order. 2 information papers been sent since the last meeting by the Secretariat. Details been printed on the agenda. Item 2. Perhaps I invite the government officials to come in first. Please. Items for discussion at the next meeting. The regular meeting of the panel will be held on the 29th of May, Friday, 8:30 a.m. The administration proposed to discuss the following 2 items. First, participation in the Green and Belt Road collaboration and air-related legislative proposals. Do members agree to the set 2 proposed items for discussion? No objection? Let's agree to the proposed arrangement. Item 3 on the agenda, Integrated Waste Management Facilities Phase 2. I know that the government have prepared a set of information paper. I will now open the floor for members to press the request to speak button first, and then I will ask the secretary to walk us through the paper. Secretary. Thank you. Madam Chair, members, good afternoon. I'm here to brief members of the 5189DR Integrated Waste Management Facilities Phase 2. That's what we call IPARC 2. The 15th five-year plan says that we need to expedite the social welfare development, and we have to go for green transformation and abide by the principles of having lucid waters and lush mountains, which are invaluable to us. We need to go for carbon neutrality and improve the environment and build a green energy system. In order to implement the goal of zero landfill by 2035, we have put in place a series of measures upstream. We have been trying to reduce waste and enhance recovery. At the same time, we have been promoting the waste to energy capacities at the downstream level. The latest figures show that the amount of municipal solid waste have gone from 2021 of about 13,000 tons to 10,300 tons in 2025. This shows that the government have achieved a result in terms of waste reduction. The IPARC 1 or IPARC is a solid part of our waste reduction measures. We are using the incineration as core technology to substantially reduce waste volume. IPARC 1 was commissioned in December last year. We commenced the first phase of trial operation, then the overall operation was smooth. The second module is also commenced system testing in March 2026, and it will enter the trial operation phases shortly. We will be able to treat 3,000 tons of MSW per day when it achieves full operation. By using incineration for waste to energy, it can lower the greenhouse gas emissions, reduce waste, and generate long-term benefits to the society. At Tumun Zhangzhou, we are going to build the IPARC 2. When both of the IPARCs are in full operation, together we'll be able to process 9,000 tons of MSW. By then, we can cease the collection of MSW at landfill very soon. In order to promote waste recovery and reduction, we are progressively trying to achieve the goal of zero landfill. We are preparing for the commissioning of IPARC. With the support of the panel, we're going to submit the funding proposal to the PWSC, and upon approval by the Finance Committee, we're going to grant the agreement. In 5.5 years, we will be able to commission the project. Now I will ask Dr. Chui, Director of Environmental Protection, to give you all a PowerPoint presentation. After that, we're going to answer questions from members. Madam Chair, members, good afternoon. Now we propose to upgrade IPAC 2 to Category A at an estimated cost of about $29.2 billion in money of the day prices. IPAC 1, 3,000 tons, IPAC 2, 6,000 tons. So altogether, we'll be able to treat 9,000 tons of MSW. We are promoting waste reduction. We see the amount of MSW reducing for consecutive years, and we hope to achieve zero landfill by 2035. At IPAC 1, we are treating 3,000 tons of MSW. That's IPAC 1 is of 20 hectares. We export 480 million kilowatt hours to the power grid. The former Middle Ash Lagoon of the Black Point Power Station, we're going to build IPAC 2 when it's in. Well, the design treatment capacity of the IPAC 2 is 6,000 tons. It can export 960 kilowatt hours of electricity to the power grid annually. So apart from increasing the design treatment capacity, IPAC 1 is only 1.5 times of that of IPAC 2 in terms of size. So with a smaller site area, we'll be able to treat more MSW. We're also going to put in place bottom ash treatment system. The bottom ash will be transported to IPAC 2 for treatment. IPAC 2 will have a more advanced flue gas treatment system and a more advanced design of the boiler system. I will go into detail later on. The height of the chimney will be lower compared to IPAC 1. This shows the design of IPAC 2. We are going to make use of, we're going to ship the waste from IPAC 1 to IPAC 2 by dedicated container vessels. The temperature of the high temperature moving gate incinerator is 850 degrees Celsius. The time that the waste will have to stay in the incinerator is 2 seconds so that we can decompose organic compounds such as dioxin. The electricity generated will be exported to the power grid for people to use. We are also using the air cooling system so that the water will not be emitted to the deep bay. As you can see here, we are using the highest emission standards around the world. The nitrogen oxide to be emitted from IPAC 2 is lower than that of IPAC 2. The same goes for particles, dioxins, and sulfur dioxide. We have tightened the requirements for all the emissions. The standard we adopt is even stricter than that adopted by the European Union. This is how we can be in compliance with the air quality objectives of Hong Kong. At the same time, we'll be able to shorten the chimney. We have a 7-stage treatment system to treat different pollutants. This picture shows the 7 stages. I will not go into detail. Regarding treatment of bottom ash, IPAC 1 only make use of magnets to recover the metals from bottom ash for recovery. But as there's a large amount of bottom ash, we are going to transfer some of it to iPark 2, where there is a treatment system. We will wash the bottom ash first, and then after a certain treatment, we can recover non-structural concrete aggregate, road subbase aggregate, backfill material, or low-carbon cement. Now, in terms of design, at iPark 2, we're going to have a seawater desalination and water supply system. We have a stringent sewage treatment system where the water recovered and treated can be used for washing cars and irrigate waters of plants. We'll try to integrate with the neighborhood and include leisure and entertainment facilities in the building, so that we are going to put in place a popular science exhibition hall, multi-purpose room, and a cafe in the iPark 2. Next to iPark 2, there is a tea park. Altogether, we try to achieve synergy to drive footfall to the area so that they come here to learn about new technology and boost the economy in the district. In order to control costs, we have introduced high-quality enterprises from the mainland, and as well as their design and materials. We adopt a fit-for-purpose and quality without extravagance principle. We have also made use of new engineering contract, modular integrated construction, digital twin technologies to lower the construction costs. With the support of the members here, we are going to submit the funding proposals to the PWSC and the Finance Committee. After the funding has been granted in 5.5 years, we will commission iPark 2 in different phases. That also includes the rainy season. That's all from our presentation. Thank you. Thank you, Director. I open the floor for questions from members. If I may remind members, if you have any direct or indirect pecuniary interest, please act in accordance with Rule 83A of the Rules of Procedure. Disclose the nature of the interest before you speak. Please also be mindful of Rule 84 of the Rules of Procedure regarding voting in case of direct pecuniary interest. There are 14 members who have pressed the button. As always, members will have 4 minutes to speak. Please be succinct first. Mr. Lothar Lam. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. By building iPark 2, we can enhance our waste treatment capacity. The costs have dropped from $35.7 billion to $29.2 billion. I have some questions. Paragraph 14 says that the bottom ash after proper treatment can be used for construction applications. The EPD have also commissioned the Building Technology Research Institute to conduct a feasibility study on the local market's capacity for absorbing the construction materials or products created. I wonder if the cost of the study has been included in the $29.2 billion project cost. Second, we're going to include education, entertainment, and leisure facilities in the iPark 2. I'm glad to see that. Waste-to-energy facilities in the country and other places also include these elements for tourism purposes. iPark 2 is located at Zhangzhou, Tumun. I wonder how the administration will improve the transport facilities to cater to the increased footfall. Well, the government said that they will look into building a modern incinerator in the northern metropolis for waste to energy. As mentioned in paragraph 7, we see a consistent reduction of MSW. If we have both the high parks IPAC, then in 2035 we will achieve the goal of zero landfill. If we don't build the incinerator in the northern metropolis, we can save further money. So how is the administration going to reinforce waste reduction in the community? Thank you.
局長。
We are so forward-looking, Mr. Lam. Director or Secretary? Well, the Director will reply to your questions on IPAC 3, traffic arrangements, and so on. Now, as mentioned in the paper, regards IPAC 3. Now, there will be developments in Northern Metropolis and the needs to handle refuse there. So we have engaged we have reserved a site there. If there is a need, we'll construct IPAC 3. So such a site has been reserved. But then, as mentioned in the paper, our primary target is to reduce the amount of waste. It's not just about building more facilities to handle waste. And we in about 3 years, we are able to reduce waste by about 1,000 tons. So we've achieved some results, and if we work harder, hopefully eventually we could reduce waste further. And then when there is less than 9,000 tons of waste disposed of per day, then we won't need IPAC 3. And then in the Northern Metropolis, if we build an incinerator there, it may cause concerns to residents there. And also, if there's no need to build IPAC 3, then the site could be released for other development. Now, the EPD has completed a 5-year, put forward a 5-year plan to reduce waste. So we are confident that we could achieve the target eventually. Now, I'll ask the Director to answer the rest of the questions. Director. On our study on bottom ash, we work with the Building Technology Research Institute, BTRI. It doesn't come from the funding for this project, it comes from other sources. Now, there is a bottom ash generated from IPAC 1, so we're using that for studies. And so we have to wait till the park is operating well, and then we could do it. We expect to take about 2 years, but then there is sufficient time because for the IPAC 2, it would take 5.5 years to construct. And the operation will be similar to that for T Park. In relation to the center and so on, if the schools coming to visit, there could be coach buses coming there because it's rather remote, so we'll continue to adopt the same approach. Next, Ms. Carmen Ken. Thank you. I'm concerned about the operating cost of IPAC 2. There are no details in the paper. On the construction cost, now initially the estimate was $35.7 billion. Now it's $29.2 billion. So it seems there's a saving of about $6 billion. But what about the operation in future? If we look at the figures for IPAC 1, for 15 years of operation, then the operating cost was estimated to be $6 billion. So then there is allowance for cost fees adjustment. So eventually the cost is $13 billion. So it's not the same as initially projected. So my concern here is this. In paragraph 17, it says that the recurrent operating cost will be $750 million. But then when the project comes before the Finance Committee for approval, maybe there will be also a fee adjustment mechanism. So we were not able to tell exactly the operating cost in future. So you have saved on construction costs, and how are you going to control the operating costs? That's my first question. Second question, surplus electricity. Now, we have IPAC 1, 2, T Park, and O Park because we want to go for waste to energy transfer. And then electricity sold to the power companies at 20 to 80 cents per unit. Now, IPAC 2 will have 480 billion unit of power for selling to the grid. So have you already made arrangements with the power companies? And how are we going to reduce waste generation to 9,000 tons per day? You answered that question partly when you replied to Mr. Lam. But why are you so confident we may not need IPAC 3? Thank you. Now, operating cost and the cost of electricity to be sold, I will ask the director to answer the questions. Now, the EPD has come up with a 5-year plan. Apart from publicity and education, we will also expand our greener community network. We will restructure the whole system, and there will be new approaches. So we'll be able to set up more self-help recovery or unit outlets, and then in 5 years, hopefully, then we can build this culture of waste recovery and recycling. The director will take the other questions. Director, thank you. Operating costs. Yes, it's true. With inflation, operating costs will go up. Now the estimate is $705 million. It's because in 2026, that's the price level. If inflation goes up, then costs will also be adjusted accordingly. On power generation, we sell surplus electricity to the power company based on the cost of fuel. The reason is because the power companies are under scheme of control, and so we base our price on fuel cost. And for each unit, the cost is about the price is about 60 to 80 cents. Madam Chair, on the recurring expenditure, $705 million for how many years? $705 million is the operating cost per annum. $705 million is the operating cost per annum. But for how long will the facilities operate? Because we want to look at the overall operating cost. The contract is for 15 years. So the operating contract is for 15 years, and each year is $705 million in operating cost, and that's the amount we're talking about. And of course, if the contractor stays on, we don't want IPAC 2 to be, suspended after a while. We want it to continue to operate. So each year the operating cost is this amount. But of course, it depends on inflation. It will be adjusted accordingly. Well, now at the PAC, Public Accounts Committee, often we find that if you use such a fee adjustment mechanism, then very often the cost will be based on inflation. So I want to remind the officials, don't think that a fee adjustment mechanism is another buffer. So you see it like a contingency fund. We must avoid this, because at Public Accounts Committee we've seen such cases. Now you include inflation-based adjustment, but then when you actually use the amount, you look at it as a contingency fund. I don't know if it's the case for IPAC 1 because I don't have evidence, but then with IPAC 1 what we see is that there is a fee adjustment of some $6 billion. So it seems that that's how you put in place the fee adjustment mechanism. Thank you, Mr. Ken, for your reminder. So we note it. Mr. Kenneth Lau. I must declare I'm the village representative of Long Ku Hang village. I own land in the New Territories. Now on IPAC 2, I support this construction, and if we have strong economic growth, I believe we will need IPAC 3 too in the future. And we want to achieve the target of zero landfill. In the past, government did not conduct sufficient consultation, and then it decided all of a sudden to build such an incineration facilities at Long Ku Tan. I and villagers there find the decision most regrettable. Now, there are already many obnoxious facilities in Longkou-Tan, and these are all territory-wide facilities, landfills, incineration facilities, and so on. They cause odor problems and air pollution problems, and these are serious. And residents are concerned whether the problem will worsen. Now, we care very much about the health and quality of living of residents, so I must reiterate the position of the Hangyi Kok. The new facilities, IPAC 2 and other facilities, must be far away from the residential areas, and there must be stronger monitoring and supervision, and then you must release all data proactively to address the concerns of residents. Now, we in the long run, it's about reducing waste at source. That's the long-term solution. Now, next to IPAC 2, we have TPAC and other facilities. And then there will be an education and entertainment facilities there. And after expansion in Lau Fo Shan and Pak Nai, those spots will be linked up, and there will be a long coastline. The Longkou-Tan beach is a popular site for people to watch the sunset. And Pak Nai is also a popular spot for watching the sunset. So I wonder if the government will help the tourism sector to arrange tours there. And so that will also help to promote the local economy, apart from promoting conservation. And then can the government also spend some money to improve, to provide facilities that will improve the environment and the quality of living for residents nearby? Secretary, thank you, Ms. Lau, for your views and questions. Now, we are talking about new incineration facilities. There's no pollution, and then the whole design is such that we could provide environmental education and even leisure facilities for residents. So such facilities are no longer obnoxious facilities like they were in the past. And then on the question of transparency of our operation, so on, definitely we'll make sure that's the case. And then we will set up a regular liaison mechanism with the Hangyi Kok, so you know what the progress is. Mr. Lau makes a good suggestions. That is for TPAC and IPAC 2. After they completed, we could provide a scientific promotion, a science promotion, or then northern, with the development of Northern Metropolis between Lau Fo Shan and Pak Nai, there will be the green tourism zone. So, in future there will be opportunities for these facilities to work together. Of course, we welcome the tourism sector to offer tourism products. Definitely, we welcome that. Thank you, Mr. Chan Pok Chi. Thank you, Madam Chair. Now, the Bureau responded to the request of the sector, so you're no longer going to have water cooling system, so you won't be drawing seawater for cooling purpose. And so for Pak Nai and other places, the ecology will not be affected. In paragraph 30, it mentions that for wastewater cannot be reused. It will be discharged through a submarine outfall into Umston Road, Oxide Deep Bay. Now, on seawater quality, TM4 and so on, are you going to release any such findings, Secretary? Well, the Director will take the question.
Thank you. The wastewater generated will be treated in the facility. And there will be also biofilm treatment. Some of the wastewater will be used for irrigation and vehicle cleaning. We try to achieve zero discharge. For wastewater that cannot be reused, it will be discharged through a sewage pipe. We will perform a secondary treatment on the wastewater. That is, the BOD would have to be lower than 50 milligram per liter, and the suspended particle will also need to meet a certain level. The wastewater will go through a long pipe and emitted into the Erbstone Road outside Deep Bay. It will not pose any impact on the surrounding environment. Thank you. Next, Mr. Chong Ho-fong. Secretary, I theoretically support IPAC 2. Currently, there is a columbarium, a landfill, and this incinerator at the area. The Chumun residents have concern regarding the noise and air pollution. As the representative of the district, I have some questions. It is said that MSW will be transported to IPAC 2 via a container vessel. These 6,000 tons will be transported to IPAC 2. How much of it is transported via road? How much of it is transported via sea? I'm sure that there will be many different types of waste. So how many extra refuse collection cars are we going to have on the road? And if there is significant traffic impact posed to Chumun, I will find it hard to support the project. The chimney of incinerators need to meet air quality standards, and usually they are built very tall. As you can, if we look at IPAC 1, we will see very tall chimneys. Now, IPAC 2, shown in the annex, is very beautiful, but I don't really know where the chimneys are. I wonder why the chimneys are shorter at IPAC 2. Is it because you have some new technology? Second, I know that 1% of the waste will be bottom ash. Some of it can be recovered. Some of it will be deposited at landfill. When the incinerator continue to burn, we will see more and more bottom ash. I wonder when will the NTET extension be used under the scenario where there is and it is not an incinerator? Thank you. Secretary, regarding the transportation of waste and the years of service or lifespan of the landfill with and without an incinerator, I will ask the director to answer them. I have already briefed members of the emission standards of flue gas. We build tall chimneys because we want to dilute the gas. For the nitrogen oxide, the standard we adopt is 60. That's lower than the national standards or European Union standards. I'm sure that members will welcome the new design of having shorter chimneys. Director, I will answer the question on bottom ash. After incineration of MSW, 10 to 20% of the waste will become bottom ash. The weight of the ash is 10 to 20% of the waste, but the waste volume is 90% lower than the original volume of the waste. We will be able to reuse some of the ash. If we introduce the mainland practice, almost all of the bottom ash can be reused as tiles and other products. Regarding New Territories West landfill, without the incinerator, without the IPAC 2, it can only be used for 30 years. With the IPAC 2, coupled with other forms of recycling and reuse, the landfill can be used double the time. But that also depends on the other waste treatment systems and level of recovery. I will ask the Deputy Director to answer the question on transportation. After commissioning of IPAC 2, most of the waste will be transported to IPAC 2 via sea. 80% will be transported via sea, 20% via road. The MSW collected by New Territories West landfill is about 6,000 tons. We believe that that's comparable to the waste volume to be collected by IPAC 2. The administration will reclaim the Longkutan, and there will be extension of Nimwan Road and Deep Bay Road. I believe that will improve the transport facilities in the district. Thank you. Next, Mr. Chen Shuhong. Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, declare interest on a senior consultant to CLP. We have these IPAC 1 and IPAC 2 to implement the vision of waste reduction and resources circulation of the government. I support the construction of IPAC 2. IPAC 1 and IPAC 2 will be able to treat 9,000 tons of MSW. The Secretary said that every day we dispose of 10,320 tons of MSW. It seems that even if both of facilities are commissioned, we'll not be able to treat all of the tons generated. But I don't think that we need to build incinerators to solve the problem. So I agree with what the Secretary said. We need to reduce waste generation at source. I hope that the government will improve the recovery facilities in the community so that we can recycle our waste. I have a few questions. First, the government said that in 5.5 years, we'll be able to complete IPAC 2 functionally. I don't know what it means. What is the actual length of construction? In 2024, this Secretary came to this panel to talk about waste-to-energy facilities and incinerator. He said at that time that they hope to shorten the design period from 72 months to 54 months, and they're going to introduce financial incentives to encourage contractors to speed up the construction. The administration estimates that the IPAC 2 can be completed 6 months faster. I wonder if the government will wonder if they have already introduced financial incentives to speed up construction, and why there is a discrepancy between 54 and 66 months. Many members are concerned about the issue of bottom ash. I will not go into the technical aspect of the treatment. There will be ash treatment system incorporated into IPAC 2. We can treat the bottom ash generated from incineration. So the bottom ash generated in IPAC 1 will be transported to IPAC 2 for treatment. When these bottom ash is delivered from IPAC 1 to IPAC 2, how can we make sure that there will not be adverse environmental impact? Thank you. Please be succinct, Secretary. I will ask the Director to take the question. Let me answer your second question first. We are already transporting bottom ash from IPAC 1 to IPAC 2 or rather, the New Territories West landfill. It will be deposited into a container which is fully sealed, and then it will be delivered to New Territories West for disposal. In the future, the bottom ash will be delivered to IPAC 2 in a fully sealed container for treatment and reuse. Last year, when we came to report on the estimation, we said that we hope that the project will be completed by 4.5 years. We have not included the rainy season or typhoon season. So after taking into account the rainy and typhoon season, we expect that the project will last around 5.5 years. The reason why we said that we plan to commence the proposed works for functional completion by phases is because, like with IPARC 1, we built the 6 incinerators in phases. So we built them in pair. 6,000 tons, we need 6 incinerators. So if we build 2 incinerators at a time, then we need 3 phases. After completion, the incinerator can start burning the waste. If we build them in pairs, then we can complete part of the project sooner. For all of the 6 incinerators to be in service, we need 5.5 years. We also have other facilities in IPAC 2. We need to build the education hall and other facilities. The most important thing is to have the incinerators ready. Thank you. Next, Mr. Andrew Lam. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to ask about the construction timetable and the bottom ash issue. The construction will last 66 months. IPARC 2 is of 18 hectares. I think the space is rather limited. IPAC 1 is situated on an island. Most of the modules were prefabricated in Zhuhai and transported to the island for construction. I thought that the IPAC 1 2 can be completed in 54 months. But the administration said that they have to account for rainy season. I know that it's challenging for us to build such a large facilities in such a small site. I'd like to ask about the operation model. How can we make sure that the facilities can be completed within 66 months? I don't think that the road network or the site area can accommodate such a large waste-to-energy facility. Second, bottom ash. We need to deliver bottom ash from IPAC 1 to IPAC 2 to process them and create aggregates and backfill material, so on and so forth. I'd like to ask about the estimates of volume. Is there any assessment on the market demand? I wonder if there is any government policy to support it. Can we guarantee that all products created from bottom ash can be bought by the market or absorbed by the market? Thank you.
I'll ask the director to explain that to you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Lam, for your support. What we can see, first of all, at Zhangchui, Tuen Mun, is true. The existing road is not really that good. Lim Wan Road is actually a very steep road with heavy traffic. and coming from the other side, there aren't many roads. So the first thing we need to do is to finish building the pier. So we will first build the pier by the seaside, and then we'll then proceed with formation works, especially at the location of the Middle Ash Lagoon. So we'll be doing foundation works and so on. At the same time, in Guangdong and nearby places, we'll be doing what we did last time at Zhuhai. That is, the boiler will be completed by the modular integrated construction approach. The boiler will be about 60 meters high, and each boiler will be some 7,000 to 8,000 tons in weight. And IPAC 1 for Ipan Waka, I think the boiler is almost 6,000 tons, and the height is 50 meters. So here the boilers will be bigger and heavier, and then everything will have to be completely sealed and enclosed, and there's need for welding and so on. And then for the whole boiler, there's need for it to be towed to Hong Kong by a special boat. So everything has to be done in parallel. And then we also have to make allowance for the rainy season, and only then can the whole project be completed in 5.5 years. Now, on the bottom ash treatment facilities, each year we can generate about 320,000 tons of non-structural construction materials. And if we just look at public housing construction projects alone, the demand each year for aggregates is about 470,000 tons. And in the private sector, the demand is 220 million tons. So that's why we are confident that the aggregates we produce will be taken up by the market without any problems. Mr. Perrier, thank you. I must thank the EPD for arranging site inspection, site visits for us at IPAC 1. And from that visit, we have learned much about the operation and the layout of IPAC 1. And so that helps us to also learn in advance about the facilities in IPAC 2. In any case, this project costs $29.2 billion. So if it's saving of 1%, we're talking about $300 million. So I must urge the department to try to make savings as far as possible. Now, if we look at the construction cost of IPAC 2 as well as the operating cost, and then we compare those to that for IPAC 2, we see that you are making savings, so you are working hard, but please try to make as much savings as possible. So we must play by the principle of fit for purpose and quality without extravagance. Now, I have two visions for the facilities. After we have IPAC 2, the secretary mentioned that each day we have about 10,326 tons of municipal solid waste each day. If the whole community can work hard together, then we could reduce it to 9,000 tons per day. And then with the commissioning of IPAC 2, then we could achieve zero landfill. If we could all work together towards achieving that vision or goal, then maybe we could give some incentives to the public, and then we can tell the public there is no more a need to consider waste charging. So as long as we work hard together towards this goal. Now we talk about eco tourism or environmental education tourism. Now going to Nim 1, we know that that currently the site is not pleasant because it's at the exit of the landfill. But then if you then go on to Park 9, you know there's a nice coastline, there is heritage and so on. And then Chim Pei Team Pack 9, there will be ecotourism. That's a zone already reserved for that purpose. So for Nim Wan Road and Sam Wan Road, apart from improving the roads, which will further widen these roads so that coach buses can pass through. Because now, even if you build a road there, it won't accommodate coach buses. Only minibuses and private cars can pass through. And if people can just take a detour before going to the airport with a good road, it's also a good experience. I wonder if you'll consider it. Secretary, improvement works for Nim Yuan Road, I'll leave that to the department. On reducing waste in the budget this year, the financial secretary said that the EPD will set a 5-year strategy or launch a 5-year strategy to further promote waste reduction. Because in the past 3 years, we can see that the public becoming more aware of the issue. So hopefully we can change our whole operation. We will also use technology, and then we're going to step up education and publicity. And of course, we need the whole community to buy in, because we have to rely on them in any case to reduce waste. So we will have a plan. On Nim Wan Road improvements, Director, please. Please speak into the microphone. On Nim Wan Road, now we mentioned that earlier on, and we are doing some advanced studies on Lim Wan Road and Chim Park 9 area, how we could widen the road and so on. IPAC 2 offers an opportunity as well, because for between Nim Wan Road and Sham Wan Road, there's now a section not open to the public, and that is the New Territories West landfill. And after waste is received at the pier, and this is a section for taking waste to the landfill. Right now, there's heavy traffic because the landfill now takes in municipal solid waste. In future, IPAC 2 will have its own pier to receive MSW. So for the original section of the road, for taking waste, for transporting waste, and have traffic may be reduced substantially, and so there will be the opportunity for us to upgrade that section of road, and so in future the whole road could be open to the public. So IPAC 2 actually offers an opportunity here. Ms. Jody Kwok, thank you. IPAC 2 is an important facility for us to achieve zero landfill. It costs $29.2 billion in public money, and it will enhance our treatment capacity and support it. I have two questions. First, IPAC 2's role as an environmental education center, and two, the reception capacity. Now, it's mentioned in the paper that in the design there will be beautification of the environment, and paragraph 38 says that reference will be made to the experience in building IPAC 1 when designing IPAC 2, and then there will be facilities that also integrate combined environmental education, leisure, and recreation elements. Would you make reference to successful examples in Copenhagen and Nanshan? And then next to the facilities, there will be commercial facilities, or, for example, museums, outdoor sports playground, and so on. So then facilities with negative perception will change. It will be turned into facilities that bring in the public, and the public will benefit from the facilities as well. And then that will allow us to better enhance the role or its role as an environmental education center. Second question is about the receiving capacity of the facilities for visitors, and what additional traffic will be generated as a result. Will there be sufficient parking spaces? Now we see there is need there will be more traffic, so will you consider widening the section leading to Zhangshui now as you build IPAC 2? Thank you. Secretary, please. I'll ask the department to take the questions. Well, on the mainland, there are many such facilities, and we've made reference to them. And next to IPAC 2, there is the Tea Park. Tea Park is very successful. There is a spa there. There is an education base. There's also coffee shop. For IPAC 2, we've considered it. We believe there is no more need for a spa. Then we believe then the education base is important. That's why there will be the education elements on the site, and there will also be recreation facilities. In the PowerPoint, we mentioned that maybe we could consider climbing facilities. And then we want to make use of VR technology. So the public can actually experience different scenarios, and there is flexibility with VR technology. We can change the videos anytime to move with the times. And then there will also be a coffee shop. So and then when we have announced the tender results, they will get in touch with the local residents to see what other facilities they'd like to be included there. On the capacity, we have made reference to the Tea Park. Every day they can receive about 80 visitors. So we talk about 3 to 4 coach buses. So we'll be adopting a similar approach. Thank you. Thank you, Director. Next, Professor Lau Chi Pang. Thank you, Madam Chair. With what I'm going to say, the Chair may say that I'm, not talking about the top subject, but then it's actually in the paper, paragraph 38, additional benefits. Near Lao Foshan Park 9 is nearby Lao Foshan Park 9. There's the longest coastline, and then there could be synergy with surrounding developments. Now I know that area rather well. A few members mentioned this already. Lower Park 9 towards the east is better. From IPAC 2 to Lower Park 9, something's not been mentioned and no one talked about it. That's the landfill. This is a huge landfill actually. So IPAC 2 inside there will be very appealing facilities, but I don't see how that will bring more visitors there. So then let's just talk about IPAC 2. If we're talking about IPAC 2, Tea Park, you say there are 400,000 visitors per year. Those are actually students from my sector. They go in coach buses. I mean, the general public rarely visits. Now, Mr. Kenneth Lau spoke just now, but he's left now. He talked about the suffering of the residents there. You put all the nasty facilities in Two Moon, people have strong views. We have landfills, we have now the incinerator. If we go by the same logic, will it be the case that in future we're going to build more such as IPAC 3? Those are good facilities and we could attract people to use them. I don't mind that. I won't be opposed to that because as we can only do so much as the general public to reduce waste at source. Rather, we should try to make good use of waste. And in the paper that's mentioned here, that is waste to energy. So we should go along that line. Don't bring in Mr. Parryu's sector. Here is hard because you must first improve the road, and then the landfill must no longer emit smell. And then we need to link up the west and the east before we could enjoy the coastline. So I think with the current state of affairs, we should just send out a message to the public that incinerating waste is a good way. It's used much around the world and is used well. And then there is also waste to energy, so we should support that. And I think you can promote the facilities much better this way. And instead of just trying to bring in other facilities that are totally irrelevant, because I said it many times, it's difficult to tackle that site because there's a landfill there. Thank you.
Secretary, thank you, Professor Lau, for your frank comment. I'll be frank as well. It's true that the future is promising for waste-to-energy facility. We have learned from mainland. Their new facilities are beautiful with zero pollution generated. They are landmarks for the mainland. Now coming back to IPAC 2, I'm sure that the members are mostly concerned about the landfill, which has odor. How can we promote tourism there? With the new incinerator, we will be able to lower, if we're able to lower the waste generated to less than 9,000 tons, then the IPAC will no longer be, then the landfill there will no longer be receiving municipal solid waste, and there will be no odor generated from landfill. We're going to treat the West New Territories landfill. We will rehabilitate it and turn it into a very beautiful place. We will try to achieve zero odor from the landfill, and we will beautify the place. That's definitely what we can do. That's why we take into account the entire area and have this goal of turning it into a recreational site. Next, Ms. Vivian Kong. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Secretary. It is said that we are going to promote tourism at IPAC 2 and integrate community facilities there. We are going to allocate $30 million to IPAC 2 project. I'd like to, we are going to incur $700 million in terms of operating cost. So I'd like to ask about the docent tours and education promotion of the project. And I wonder if the government have any estimates on the education efforts. Secretary, I will ask the director to take the question. Thank you, Madam Chair. Regarding the public education and promotion facilities that I mentioned, they will be operated by the contractor in IPAC 2. The estimates is included in the project costs and is included also in the operating costs of $700 million annually. Thank you, Madam Chair. Next, Mr. Jonathan Lang. Thank you. As the landfill is about to be saturated and given the demand for waste treatment, I support the development of IPAC 2. With the new technology, the emission of dioxin is significantly lowered. Members have been talking about whether we should include tourism elements in this project. The Secretary said that he's confident that there will be no odor generated from the incinerator, and he will turn this into a landmark. Looking at other countries, such as the same facility in Copenhagen, we've just talked about having an education center in IPAC 2. If we can integrate other elements into the facility, such as having recreational facilities at the rooftop or a photo-taking spot, then I believe that the public and neighborhood people will go there. And when more people visit the facility, then the rumor of iPark 2 generating odor will be smashed. It seems that currently we rely heavily on school tours. If we have, say, a grass field on the rooftop of iPark 2, then I'm sure that many people and families would visit there to take photos. And they can spread the news that there is no odor coming out from the incinerator. I hope that the administration will consider this. Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Leung, for his comment. As the Secretary said, we have many ideas as to how we can make better use of the facility. We'll talk to residents in the vicinity and look into what facilities suit them the best. We may build, say, esports center or VR games there. We can later then pull our minds together to come up with some new facilities that suits the needs of the residents in the district. Mr. Holden Cha. Thank you, Madam Chair. The Environmental Protection Department have consulted us on this iPark 2 project regarding control of cost. Regarding the first iPark, we spent about $19.2 billion. Now we spent some $29.2 billion. Now the treatment capacity of iPark 2 is double that of iPark 1, despite the cost not doubling. So I think that is very important. Second, Two Moon residents have something to say about the project. They need to make sure that they are able to give the administration feedback. I've talked to the Secretary multiple times. We have many famous incinerators of the world. Some are in Copenhagen and some in mainland. They turn the incinerators into tourism spots. They provide, say, dry skiing facilities and they include also other tourism elements in the facility. Their incinerators have been turned into projects that can generate economic benefits. As we need to build these incinerators anyway, I hope that the administration, when they come up with a design, will take into account the views that I just mentioned. And I hope that you will include community facilities in iPark 2 for the use of the residents in Two Moon. I've read the entire paper. You have given us a breakdown on the components of the project, but you have not mentioned whether or not you have incorporated the feedback of the community in your project and whether there is any tourism elements in it. I hope that you will provide us with more information in the paper submitted to the PWSC. And I hope that you will incorporate the feedback of the Two Moon residents into your project. Thank you. Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Chow, for the comment. I have 2 points to make. First, regarding the design of the facility. This is just an artist impression. In the contract, we ask the contractor to consult the Two Moon residents before confirming the design of the iPark 2. So we can all take part in given the contractors our views so that we can turn this project into a landmark. Second, regarding community facilities, as I said, our plan is not final. Although we do have some ideas in mind, we keep an open mind. We will talk to the residents in Tuen Mun to make sure that the facilities are popular and of use to them. So there is ample time for everyone to participate in the design of the iPark 2 and what community facilities to include in the project. Next, Mr. Tan Kapil. Dr. Hui Simon Lee. Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a great project. I support it. The administration have briefed me of the project. I have 3 questions. First, electricity will be generated from this waste to energy facility. How can we measure the cost effectiveness? Second, iPark 1 and iPark 2 altogether can process about 9,000 tons of waste. That's about 1,000 tons short of the amount of waste we generate every day. I'd like to ask about the projection. If we can reduce waste generated by the community effectively and eventually we can generate less than 9,000 tons, then how are we going to deal with the surplus capacity? If we're not able to lower the waste generated to less than 9,000 tons, then how are we going to deal with the additional waste? That's my second question. Third, I know that there are various modules to the machinery of iPark 1 and iPark 2. And the system may need to be suspended when we need to maintain and repair them. How can we make sure that the treatment capacity can be maintained in the period? Thank you. Secretary. I will ask the director to talk about the electricity generated and the modules of the machinery. Regarding planning, the Northern Metropolis Coordination Office of the Development Bureau have set aside a site for the 3rd incinerator in Hong Kong. We have already identified the location of the site. According to our experience in the past 3 years, we're confident that we will be able to lower the waste generated. In the budget delivered by the Financial Secretary, it is said that we're going to have a 5-year plan and strategy for waste reduction. We will expand the waste recovery and recycling network and restructure the model of recovery. We're also going to introduce new technology and step up publicity and promotion. We're confident that we'll be able to lower the MSW generated per day. If we cannot achieve that, if we need a 3rd incinerator, we do already have a site in mind. Thank you. Director, we have 6 incinerators that operate in parallel. When we need to repair one of the incinerators, and when one of the incinerators need to be suspended, then the rest of the 5 incinerators will still be in operation. And even with 5 incinerators, we can treat 6,000 tons. We have already taken that into consideration when we design the project. As for the cost, 960 million kilowatt hours of surplus electricity can be generated if the price of the electricity per kilowatt is 60 to 80 cents, then we can generate about $600 million of profit or income. The operating cost per year is about $700 million. So we think that this project is highly cost effective. Thank you, Director. Next, Mr. Chen Haken. Thank you, Madam Chair. Regarding the construction cost of the iPark 2 of $29.2 billion, can we further cut it? Let me give you some figure for reference. In Guangdong province, there is an incinerator that can treat 400 tons of waste. The cost is $5.8 billion of renminbi. For a incinerator that treats only 6,000 tons, is $29.2 billion expensive. Can we further compress the cost? I understand that this may not be a apple-to-apple comparison, but I wonder if there is room for us to lower the cost further. Second, I see that the government efforts to reduce waste have been quite effective. The disposal of MSW is reducing for 4 consecutive years. In 2025, the daily MSW disposed is only 10,326 million tons. But there is still some way to go before we can reach the zero landfill goal in 2035. Both of the iParks can only treat 9,000 tons of waste. So there is still 1,000 tons that we need to dispose of at the landfill. What measures can we adopt to speed up the waste reduction in the community? Some environmental groups or green groups say that with the incinerators, people's incentive to recover or reduce waste will be lowered. I'm sure that's not the intent of the EPD, but how can we reduce waste generation faster? My third question. Every year, 960 million kilowatt hours of electricity can be generated. If we sell the electricity to CLP, then we can generate $600 million of income. For CLP, they sell per kilowatt hours of electricity to us at 60 to 80 cents, or rather $1 to $1.50. How should we sell the electricity to them at 60 to 80 cents? If that's the case, then we can generate even more income. Thank you. I will ask the director to talk about the price of electricity and whether we can further compress the construction costs. Let me first address the question regarding electricity price. We use the increase in marginal cost principle to sell the electricity to the power companies. Why do we set the price at marginal cost? That's because for power companies, say for example, if they generate, say, 100 million kilowatt hours of electricity, we sell 900 kilowatt hours to them, then they can only save some 100 kilowatt hours. Because they use fuel to generate electricity, that's the cost they base their price on. Can we sell them at a higher price? Well, in the control scheme, they can only earn a certain percentage of income. If we sell them at a higher price, then the electricity charges to be borne by the people will be increased. We use the marginal cost as the level of price so that none of us will lose money. Thank you. Director, we understand that the incinerators on the mainland are built at a lower cost, but it's difficult for us to do an apple-to-apple comparison.
Now in Hong Kong, as we mentioned earlier, Our emission standards are more stringent than the national standard. And for example, nitrogen oxides, our emission standard is 60. On the mainland is 250. So that's why the flue gas treatment system is more complicated in our case. And secondly, on 18 hectares, we're going to treat 6,000 tons of waste. And that also includes the bottom ash treatment system. And then the bottom ash treatment system actually will cover both IPAC 1 and IPAC 2. So in terms of the density of facilities and the complexity, that's far higher. And thirdly, as I explained earlier, Nim Wen Road is currently a very steep road. So transportation is difficult. On the mainland, usually, they will complete the entire road section, and then probably nearby there is another incinerator. So all the infrastructure is already in place, but in our case we have to start from scratch. We have to first do soil investigation, and then we have to do foundation works, and then we have to build the seaside or the seawalls, and then we have to provide the bottom ash boiler. It all adds to the construction cost. So in our case, it's a lot more complicated, and that's why there's this big difference in cost. Now, how can we reduce waste generation in future? The EPD is thinking about several important processes. One is the promotion of waste recycling, and then when we retender for green at community facilities, we will consider a district as a whole, and we will consider different recycling points in our overall layout, and then we could expand the recycling capacity and improve the recycling efficiency. And then more residents will be able to take their recyclables to these green at community points. And then with large waste, we could extract useful materials such as metal, and then we could further reduce waste. And kitchen waste too, we are now proactively expanding our capacity to recycle food waste. Mr. Tankapiu, thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for allowing sufficient time for the Council to consider the project, because it's a major project that solves a major issue for Hong Kong. Now, last or 2 weeks ago, we visited IPAC 1 to learn more about its operation. Many members would like to see fully automatic operation at IPAC 2. Currently on IPAC 1, there is need for staff to be present on site to handle the refuse vehicles and so on. So there will be occupational safety, health risks, and so on. Now you're going for fully enclosed, and I hope we will go for fully enclosed and automatic operation. And second is the price of electricity. We can see, given the current international development, the electricity will be able to fetch a good price. Right now, the price you said is 60 to 80 cents per kilowatt hour. But with IPAC 2, can there be more flexibility in the pricing system? So you could negotiate with some power companies on a continuous basis. Now there is now a stronger demand for green power. So should the price fixing mechanism move with the times, probably to the benefit of the government? and then perhaps we could analyze the situation further. Now, for the electricity tariff in Hong Kong, of course, is based on the scheme of control for the two power companies. It's 9.7% of return, 7.9% of return. But we know then a new scheme of control will be signed, and then this percentage could be adjusted. So I hope you will take all these factors into consideration. And then your 3,000 plus 6,000 tons in total, 9,000 tons of waste to energy generation. For waste to energy generation, does it mean that more landfills will be closed? And how much actual expenditure could be saved on the part of the government? Because there are operating costs in handling waste. So you need to tell the public and this council how much cost you are saving, so we know this is the best solution. Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Tang, for your questions. I already mentioned on the price of electricity. We adopt a marginal cost approach so that we won't add to the burden of the public on electricity tariff. At the same time, we won't allow the power companies to make additional profits. But of course, we will negotiate with the two power companies on the actual price. And for the rest of the questions, I'll ask the EPD to take them up. On automation of the facilities, we very much encouraged tenderers to adopt an automation system because we can see the change in the community and the advancement of technology, so definitely we can save manpower. When the tender documents are reviewed, we'll certainly we'll certainly follow up on that. Second point about closure of landfills. We still need landfills to handle non-combustible waste. For example, construction waste. There is still a need for landfills to receive such waste. So we need to allow some flexibility too, but of course the overall volume will come down. Landfill fees are linked to the amount of items you dump at the landfill. So if you dump more, then you pay more. But in future, probably there will be less of a need to dispose waste at landfills, and then and the people could pay less. Now, I want to know how much cost savings will result with these facilities. Next, Dr. Junius Ho. Madam Chair, I support the construction of iPark 2. Earlier on, the department explained many of the ideas and background information to me. I'm grateful for that. Now, about the construction cost. When iPark 1 was built, there were suggestions that we should have incineration at different on a district-based basis, and but then eventually it said that New Territories Northeast is the best place for and Zhangzhou is the best place actually. But then instead of going to Zhangzhou, you went to Shek Ku Chao, and then you wasted so much more money just to handle 3,000 tons. Now you're coming back to Zhangzhou, but then the facilities will be able to handle 6,000 tons of waste. And the director is working really hard to bring down the cost to just about $30 billion. I think there's still room to compress costs further. But then, as Mr. Chong Ho Fung suggested, you need to consult Tuen Mun residents. Personally, I think we should have central facilities rather than district-based facilities. And then Mr. Gary Chen mentioned the electricity price. Can you increase it? You sell to the power companies at 60 cents or 80 cents, but then power companies sell to the public at $1.60. So why can't you charge more? And then it's BOT, so iPark 1 is the same does the construction and operation, and is some $300 million per year on cost. I think that's high. So you talk about the different chemicals, fly ash, bottom ash treatment, and so on. It's just about $100 or so per ton. But here we're talking about over $300 per ton. So I hope you could bring costs down. Of course, the cost of living is not the same here on the mainland, but then the difference shouldn't be that huge. And maybe the requirements could be less stringent. Because I care more about the cost. Perhaps at the PWSC can show us the comparison between the mainland and Hong Kong. Now you can look at the most advanced facilities on the mainland, and you show me the cost for comparables. Even if I don't ask about the cost in Guangdong province, I would ask DeepSeek, and at least you can get some information from DeepSeek. Now, I support the construction, but I think you should try to save as much as possible. Thank you.
Secretary. Thank you, Dr. Ho, for his comment. We care about the issue of cost as well. We understand that the cost of building incinerators on the mainland is much lower. So our strategy this time is that when we conduct a tender exercise, we consulted many large corporations on the mainland. We encouraged them to submit tenders. We received 8 tenders. All of them are from experienced mainland enterprises. And I believe that by having fierce competition, we can suppress the construction cost. The original estimate was about $35.7 billion. After looking at the return tender price, we are now able to lower the cost to $29.2 billion. The strategy we adopted has effectively lowered the construction cost. After selecting the contractors, we will leverage on financial incentives under the new engineering contract to encourage the contractors to further lower the cost, because if they're able to lower the actual cost, they will benefit as well. So this is how we lower the construction and operating cost. Dr. Ho, I know that you have some follow-up questions. We already overrun. Please follow up on your questions by writing to the administrations. We have spent 1.5 hours on this item. Let's move on to the next one. I have questions for the members. Regarding IPAC 2, do members support the administration submitting the proposal to the PWSC? I believe that most members support it. Now we move on to the next item. That is rehabilitation and construction of sewage rising mains, Kowloon and Southern Districts. I invite the relevant government representatives to come in to the conference room. Secretariat, are we ready? As members are pressing the request to speak button, I will ask the administration to come in.
好啦，咁啊，
Same as just now, they are going to give us a brief presentation, and then we'll have also a PowerPoint presentation. Let me take the time to remind members that if you have any direct or indirect pecuniary interest in relation to the item, please act in accordance with Rule 83A of the Rules of Procedure. Disclose the nature of the interest before you speak. Please be also mindful of Rule 84 of the Rules of Procedure regarding voting in case of direct pecuniary interest. I see that the Undersecretary is already here. Over to you. Madam Chair, members, good afternoon. We're here to brief members on the 4447DS rehabilitation and construction of sewage rising mains, Kowloon and Southern District. We propose to upgrade it to Category A. To improve public hygiene and enhance the water quality at rivers and harbor, the government have been planning and improving the sewage system. We adopt a risk-based approach to repair and rehabilitate aged sewage and rising mains so that there will not be any leakage problems that cause pollution. Currently, there is sewage and rising mains at Sheko, Atley Charles, Stanley Main Street, Kowloon. They have been used for 29 years that exceed the lifespan. So we think that it's timely for us to replace and repair the sewage rising mains to lower the risk of leakage and improve the reliability of the system. We propose to upgrade the 4447DS project to Category A at an estimated cost of $348 million in money of the day prices. Upon approval of the Finance Committee, we will start the project. We target to complete the work in 3.5 years in phases. Now I will ask my colleague to brief members on the project 4447DS with ease of PowerPoint slides. Mr. Tony Lan. Thank you. I will brief members of the project 4447DS rehabilitation and construction of sewage rising mains at Kowloon and Southern District. We will rehabilitate the sewage rising mains at 5 different locations at Sheko, Ablai Charles, Stanley in Southern District, and Whampoa and St. Paul Court in Kowloon. These 5 sewage rising mains have been operated for over 29 years and beyond its design life of 25 years. We intend to replace and rehabilitate these sewage rising mains to reduce the risk of leakage and improve the operational efficiency and reliability of the sewage rising mains network. We propose to replace and rehabilitate 2 existing rising mains of about 1.1 kilometers and construct 5 rising mains of about 2.8 km long. They are at the 5 locations that I just mentioned. Now I will go through them one by one. The first work area is at Sheko. There are several parts to this project. The blue rising mains is of 300 mm diameter that connect Tai Tau Chau and Sheko preliminary treatment works. We propose to rehabilitate this 360-meter long mains. We also propose to construct a single pipe discharge rising mains of 400 meters. We will adopt a tranchless method to build this 300 mm diameter sewage to connect it to Tai Tau Chau. The last section in red is the existing sewage rising mains at Tai Tau Chau, and we are going to rehabilitate the 360-meter long pipe and build a brand new pipe of also 360-meter long. The second works area is at Ablai Chau, Lee Nam Road, near the driving school. At the pedestrian walkway, we're going to build a brand new twin pipe sewage rising main of 250 mm in diameter and 50 meters in length. The third works area is at Stanley. We propose to construct a twin pipe sewage rising mains of 200 meter in length and 300 millimeter in diameter that will connect to somewhere near the Tim Hau Temple. Now coming back to Kowloon, one of the works area is at Whampoa. We propose to build 2 twin pipe sewage rising mains. There are two parts to the mains. Well, the 170 meter will be built with the trenchless method. Regarding the remaining 225 meter of the mains, in order to prevent obstructing the road traffic, and as there is a tunnel, as a result, the 225 meter of the mains will be built with the trenchless method. The last proposed rehabilitation area is at Sampo Con. We're going to rehabilitate 150 meter long sewage rising mains. As well, we are going to construct a brand new 500 mm diameter mains inside the 900 mm diameter mains. We have already consulted the relevant district council, the area committees, incorporated owners. Most of them support our projects or have no views. If we have the support of the Legislative Council, then we will complete the works in 3.5 years. We are conducting tender in parallel. The estimated cost of the works is about $348 million. If we have the support of a panel, we are going to submit the proposal to the Public Works Committee for consideration and seek funding approval from the Finance Committee. Hopefully, in the third quarter of 2026, we can start our works. That's all for my presentation. Thank you. Thank you. I open the floor for questions from members. First, for each member of 4 minutes. First, Mr. Jonathan Lampert. Thank you. I have to declare interest. One of my companies manufacture and exports couplings of sewage and manholes. I understand that 50% of the works adopt this trenchless method. The administration said that the diameters of the mains is about just 250 to 600 meters. We're going to use a manless method to construct the pipes. We're going to use high pressure sludge to cool down the drillers, and if there is leakage, then there will be flooding of concrete. At T2 tunnel of Charcoal Lane, same accident happened. Stanley and Ablay Chow, they are near the water. If there is any leakage of concrete or sludge, then it will affect the water quality. Is there any emergency plan? And I wonder if the administration will conduct water monitoring of the harbor. The project will last 3.5 years. It will span across 3 summers. In recent years, we have seen, say, heavy typhoons during summer. If there is seawater irrigation, then there will be significant injuries. Do we have any measures to make sure that all the equipment and machinery are properly handled? Thank you.
Colleagues from the Drainage Services Department will take the first and the third questions. On the second question, that is during the construction period, how are we going to monitor water quality? The Drainage Services Department, DSD, has completed preliminary environmental review or an audit, and they have proposed a series of mitigation measures. Now, wastewater generated during works must meet the requirements of the relevant water pollution regulations, and then there must be mitigation measures. For example, there must be proper repair and so on to minimize impact. And then the APD will regularly inspect the site to make sure the contractor puts in place mitigation measures and adopts a good works approach. That's a DSD actually, and then EPD will also monitor the water quality of the 42 gazetted beaches from March to October, during the swimming season, they will collect samples to monitor water quality. And during this period, they will collect samples 3 times in a month. And then if water quality is average, good, or very good, such findings will be publicized on their website. DSD, please. Members are concerned about sludge generation during drilling. Well, when we do drilling, that is refill excavation, we're careful with controlling the water pressure. Before we do drilling, we'll do calculation. We'll look at the level of the water table, and then we will make sure there's proper control of sludge emission or generation. And we'll also monitor very closely changes in water pressure during drilling, so members could rest assured. Thank you. Next, Mr. Chen Xiu-hong. Thank you. Now, this is the rehabilitation construction of sewage rising mains. We're now moving to package 2 that covers the Southern District and Kowloon. And we're talking about mains in operation for 29 years. So I'm in support of rehabilitating or constructing new mains, because with aging of these mains, if something should happen, there'll be a major impact on residents. On the principle adopted is the risk-based principle. Now, that's what the government adopts. But it's just luck that nothing happens in 29 years. And if we want to have a more accurate assessment, there are already mature technologies available. So I wonder if the government has plans to install smart devices such as sensors that will monitor the condition of mains and also detect leakage, and then warnings could be issued, and then you could intervene at an early stage. Now, 5 locations are covered. Southern District, Sheko, Stanley, Sanpo Kong, and Appalachia, and so on. These are heavily populated areas, and also there are tourist spots there. Now, it will take 3.5 years to complete all the works, and 5 areas are covered. In the paper is mentioned you have consulted the relevant district councils. But then during works construction, is it the case that you need to carry out works in all the locations for 3.5 years? I think 3.5 years is just a total duration. So which area will go first? So I believe they will be done in phases. Can you provide the information now? If not, you must make sure you provide information to the Public Works Subcommittee. Now, there are the various mains, and then there could be open trench or trenchage methods adopted, and financial implications. Right, in paragraph 8, you only providing estimated percentage. So when you go to the PWSC, I think based on the experience with the other packages, I hope you will compare prices when the tenders come in. You must see if prices have gone up or down, and what can you do to compress cost as well as the works period. So a number of questions there. Whether there are different phases for the different areas, I'll ask the DSD to take that question. On your third question, well, the member is right. Right now at the paper, we just use percentage to show you the proposed allocation of funds. And we are still carrying out certain works while we are inviting tenders in parallel. And when we get to the PWSC we will be able to inform members of the figures. And then we'll also see whether the unit cost is comparable to that for other projects. We will be giving such information in a PwC paper. As to whether we are adopting technology to monitor the condition of mains so that we could act properly. We have various technologies to do regular monitoring of mains and check the conditions. And then we could arrange repair and maintenance in a timely manner, and that will help to lower the cost of leakage. Now, with the new mains, we will also reserve space for the installation of real-time monitoring devices after the completion of the works. And then the DSD will also watch the latest technology, and so that we can use latest technology to monitor such mains and prevent leakage. Now the DSD will take the other questions. Thank you, Madam Chair and Mr. Chen. On the construction period, yes, we're talking about 5 different locations, and there will be some minor difference in the construction period. We expect the works extended to be completed the soonest, but they will still take about 30 months. For Kowloon, Whampoa, and Shek O, well, yes, so we do need more or less 39 months. That is 3.5 years. And Sampo Kong, Apple Chow, we can complete the works in 30 plus months. As for new technology, we are considering new systems, that is optic fiber sensor system. So we'll put optic fiber cable next to the rock mains, and if there's leakage, that will lead to changes in physical properties, such as creation of noise or change in temperature, and then we'll be able to detect very quickly after computer analysis the leakage and also identify the actual location. Thank you. Next, Mr. Chen Pok Chi. Thank you, Madam Chair. Paragraph 5 of the paper mentions that we'll be upgrading from the single pipe design to twin pipe system to enhance the ability of the system, or the reliability of the system. What about the increase in maintenance cost? And with extreme weather, there will be more rainfall, so will there be any reserve capacity for expanding the mains system with heavier rainfalls? DSD? The switch rising mains, upgrading from single pipe design to twin pipe design. As we mentioned in the paper, we have now single pipe, and so just adding another pipe. Member asked about the maintenance cost. Yes, it will be a bit higher, but in our design requirements for all new sewage rising mains, they must be of the twin pipe design. Forecast of rainfall volume. While in our design we have allowed for sufficient capacity for population increase. And then the member also mentioned extreme weather. In general, our system adopts separation of the sewage system and the rain stormwater system. So when there is heavy rain, then it does not affect our sewage system as much. Thank you. Mr. Jonathan Leung. Now the works cover Sheko, Apple Chow, Stanley, and so on. And then they are all, these places all have famous beaches, Sheko Beach, St. Stanley, St. Stephen's Beach, Victoria Harbour. So we're worried about water quality. Will that be affected because of the works? So 2 questions. During the works period, how do you ensure that there won't be silt and so on. Because in Chaco, this is a narrow site. So how do you prevent any impact on the water quality? And also, these places are quiet places. How do you minimize nuisance during work period? Especially, Chaco is frequented by visitors and tourists, and then Stanley is a place that the government tries to invigorate. So, what can you do to make sure the works will not affect these areas, both for residents and tourists? Mr. Lee of the DSD. Well, on water quality, there's mention of Chaco. There is a section that we adopt the trenches method. So where we have to pass through water bodies, that means we will be working below ground. So there's no need to do excavation. So remember, you could rest assured there won't be any silt leakage causing pollution. And on noise, yes, of course, we'll be using certain machinery, but then in a contract, we require the contractor to use high quality powered mechanical equipment that emits low noise. At the same time, we'll put in place temporary noise barriers, which will try to minimize noise impact as far as possible. At the same time, we'll make sure there's proper arrangement works sequence to avoid conducting noisy works simultaneously. Thank you. Ms. Julia Lau. Thank you. Now, we need to use public money carefully. That's very important. The department adopts a risk-based approach. It's not that I disagree, but I think in general, when we talk about replacing such mains, there's need to do an assessment first to see how much damage there's been. If there's not much damage, very often the approach now is to use inner lining, some sort of membrane, to repair the mains. I wonder if you have done such inspection before you identify these sites for works, because if there is not too much damage, then you could adopt the method I just mentioned to do the repair, and that will minimize impact on the environment. And now there's also this proposal to change the single pipe to twin pipe system, 250 millimeters in diameter. That's 10 inches of sewer, and if there's any blockage, that means instead of 10 inches, it's just 8 inches or even 6 inches left in space, and then that could result in serious blockage. I wonder if you will reserve spare capacity. Now you are changing it from one 500 mm mains to two 250 mm mains. I think the idea is having a spare main, so if one main is blocked, then the other mains can be used. But then if it's just 10 inches in diameter, could be easily blocked. So that I have some reservation about the design. And have you done inspection? Is it really necessary to replace the entire section, or when you put in a new section, would you allow for a larger diameter? Especially the mains on the road. There's now mains on the road, and then you are moving it to the pavement, and there'll be two narrower mains. And I really have some reservation about this approach. So that's from a professional. Mr. Lee, please. Thank you. The first question is about using lining instead to repair the pipes instead of replacing the mains. Yes, the member is right. We have to be careful to assess as to when we replace the mains or just put lining to repair the mains. If you look at the 5 locations at Chaco, we're using lining. So we consider very carefully the different approaches. We'll consider the cost as well in that process. And we find that what we're proposing now comes with the best price tag. And have we examined the or the pipes or the mains, like the one the member mentioned in 2017? There were leakage incidents. So we know from those incidents the condition of the mains. And then here we're talking about very old mains, and with the current design standard, we try to adopt a twin pipes approach as far as possible. And we try to use both pipes, in normal cases. But then if one is under repair, then the other will be used as the spare one. Now, 250 millimeters diameter would it lead to easier blockage. Now, in the design of sewage pipes and sewage rising mains, we consider the flow rate of the mains, and we'll see if it could help to push objects forward so there won't be sedimentation. So that's why we consider very carefully the appropriate diameter. Our colleague has actually looked at the situation at the road you mentioned, and we believe 250 millimeters is appropriate. And we've also considered whether there is constant blockage with 250 millimeters diameter, but then we do have a certain percentage of mains of the diameter of 250 millimeters, and we do not see any serious blockage records.
Mr. Yu Paklan. Thank you, Madam Chair. We need to maintain sewage rising mains regularly, especially those that have been used for over 29 years. I fully support the project. As of January 2026, the administration said that they have completed 180 km long sewage rising mains and repair and maintain 16 km long rising mains, and they are working on some 40 km mains. So how many more km of sewage rising mains we have to work on in the future? Regarding the project in Shek-O, I finally understand what the South Bridge at Shek-O is. I thought that it was a bridge for people to go to Tai Tau Chau to appreciate the views, and turned out it's a sewage rising main. At the preliminary treatment facilities, we have a brand new rising mains. I believe that's a submarine pipe. I'd like to know more about the cost of this outfall pipe tunnel. The original pipe is on the surface, so I wonder how much the pipe tunnel cost. Thank you. I will answer the first question, and then the second one will be taken by the DSD. The member asked how many more rising mains we have to work on. The total length of the underground rising mains is 1,940 km. For the pressure mains is 210, the rising mains 1,730, gravity sewers. If we do not account for the ones that we have worked on, the outstanding mains that have not been worked on include 120 gravity sewers and 1,225 km of rising mains. We have been applying for funding proposals to work on these mains and sewers. For some projects, we rely on the block allocation. For gravity sewers, we review its conditions every 5 years, and every year we have to work on 3.4 km rising mains, and we repair 8 km of it every year. So the progress is under control. As for the gravity sewers, as we have many more of them, every year we look at its conditions, and through the block allocation we deploy resources to repair them. After inspection, for the level 4 and 5 gravity sewers, they amount to about 5 km per year. We repair 25 km of gravity sewers every year, so that's 5 times of the demand. So the overall progress is ideal and under control. The DSD, please. Thank you, Madam Chair. I thank the member for his support. As shown on the slide, we're going to construct new rising mains that connect the preliminary treatment works to Tai Tau Chau. We're going to adopt the tranchless method to construct the pipe. So we will not be able to see the pipe. Regarding the one at the Blue Bridge, we have no plan to replace it because it's a normal surface. During Mangkhut typhoon, part of the bridge was damaged. The Architectural Services Department in 2021 redeveloped that section of the bridge. So we're going to keep the mains there. So what happens to the ones in Tai Tau Chau? After constructing the new mains, we're going to lay some section connecting to the alpha pipe tunnel. We're going to place an extra sewage mains there. The last member to speak, Mr. Yang Wen-kit. Thank you. Sorry, Madam Chair, I'm going to spare 1 minute on my questions. I'd like to focus on Sampo Con project. It spans across Prince Edward Road East. I'd like to ask about the construction method, because the Prince Edward Road East is rather busy. And what is the traffic arrangement during construction period? Mr. Lee from the DSD, please. Thank you, Mr. Yang. Regarding the section at Prince Edward Road East, we all know that it's busy. I believe that at that time, the sewage rising mains was built with the tranchless method. We have set aside at that time a 1.8, 1.9 meter long metal tunnel there. We are going to construct and lay a new mains inside the metal pipe, because there is space inside the pipe for a new mains. So no excavation is needed at Prince Edward Road East. Thank you. That concludes our discussion. Do we object to the administration submitting the proposal to the PWSC for consideration? Any objection? All support? All right, so this proposal will be submitted to the PWSC. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, any other business? There being no Mr. Ho or Dr. Ho. Thank you. Now, I'd like to ask about Annex 1 and Annex 2 of the paper. Oh, sorry, rather, I was asking about CB 1296. Paper 01. Can the place of origin of the imported oil products be provided to us? Are you asking about the place of origin? Yes. The Secretary will ask the administration for that. Would the Secretary please ask the CNSD if there is such information? Any other business? There being no AOB, meeting adjourned.